Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're having a fabulous Saturday. Well, this is still International Thyroid Awareness Week, and it's such a pleasure. It's been amazing the whole week to be with many of you. Um, just like from all over the world, I cannot believe the love that is pouring through. One second, let me check something here with the light. There you go. Hi, Thisfitmum. So today we're going to be live with Thisfitmum Lisa. She's got an amazing journey to share with us. And honestly, to all the thyroid warrior out there, so I'm going to wave to a few of you. Hi, Tersu. It is just an honor. When I started this less than a year ago, the idea was really to shed the light on what we're all going through silently in our corners of the globes. And even today, this afternoon, there was an amazing conference in Nigeria with Thyroid Awareness Nigeria. Hi, Tertium Mondatu. I couldn't pronounce it. I hope you're having a fabulous Saturday. So, earlier today, there was this amazing conference about the implication of thyroid hormones before and during pregnancy. And this is quite huge because a lack of thyroid hormones during pregnancy can create serious problem both for mother and baby, and especially the one worries us is baby in terms of development. So it's great that we can talk about this because so many of the symptoms affiliated to thyroid are actually misunderstood for many other things. So can you imagine someone starting their thyroid journey hoping to get pregnant, and then suddenly so many things get in the way. By the time you're realizing you lost a couple of years trying to find a diagnosis, and at the same time many different doctors are checking other things in your body, and finally probably even are treating different things. I mean, in my case it took 12 years to get diagnosed. So today I'm really glad that we can have a mom with us, Lisa, because it's not easy to be a mom, and I'm sure many moms out there relate. But can you imagine? And I know it's not easy to be a thyroid disease patient. So the both combined together, I just don't know how people would do it. And actually, she's doing it so well, and look at her now. Check her profile. This fit mom. She looks stunning. So I'm going to invite this fit mom Lisa now to join us and share her story with us. We're going to be discussing, we can't discuss everything because we shortened the live now. It's going to be 20-25 minutes, but you could always ask me or this fit mom a couple of questions later. So let me invite her now. Let's go to technology. There you go. Together, learn more about what happened to her and how it happened, how it was treated. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Fine. You're looking fab. My God, I've been through that profile and that gave me the head spinning. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get back. Can you imagine? I used to be a model, and I'm like looking at you, and you have your mom, and I'm like, what? What's going on?
Thank you.
You're looking great. Tell us.
Worried about my roots at the moment, though. All the hairdressers are shut.
Well, I guess what? I had to do my hair myself for the first time in my life because I go to the hairdresser. So,
Oh, no. I think my hairdresser would tell me off if I tried to do my own.
but let me tell you something. We are beautiful. We are beyond alive. We are tired alive. We are fantastic. And just for even going through thyroid problem and being a mom, honestly, we want to hear everything about how the whole journey started, because I'm sure and I hope this can inspire a lot of mom to check to check if there's something wrong. So when were you diagnosed with, tell us how it was.
Okay, so I was originally diagnosed with hypothyroidism in 2014, 2015, somewhere around that point. It was after the birth of my daughter.
Was it hyper? I didn't hear. Hyper? Hypo?
Hyper, so low thyroid.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so after the birth of my daughter, but I had experienced a lot of problems before that, which I can see now were misdiagnosed.
Okay.
So starting back as early as sort of 2008, 9, 10, I had issues with feeling low, feeling tired, feeling lethargic, not having any energy, having swelling-like symptoms. But I was originally diagnosed with depression, which they put me on antidepressants for. In 2012, hopefully my dates are right, 2012, I had an ectopic pregnancy, which was quite far gone. It was about 4 months in. And I had a fallopian tube removed. And then following that, I miscarried quite a number of times. And at that point, no one really knew or understood why or what. In 2013, I finally did get pregnant, and I had my daughter in the 2014. And then following that, after the weight gain during pregnancy, I had things like the classic thyroid symptoms of carpal tunnel during pregnancy. So I had the swollen hands and the really painful sort of swollen fingers. And yeah, again, you know, found I was really tired. I just put it down to pregnancy. I felt lethargic. You know, moods were low. You put all of these things down to pregnancy. I didn't think that it would be, you know, I never even thought of thyroid. And then once I had my daughter, I put on quite a bit of weight, and I really struggled to lose it. So I was, you know,
how much weight did you put on?
I put on, so when I started about 4.5 stone. So about 4.5 stone, and I couldn't shift it. It's not like I had the baby and I lost some. It's, you know, I started working out to try and help lose some weight, and you know, I wasn't really getting anywhere, and I was trying to diet. But you know, with the newborn baby as well, it was difficult. I was tired, didn't have any energy. I was trying to work out here and there, but you know, nothing really, you know, regular.
That was that tough, actually.
Yeah, it's just when you feel that sort of lethargic and tired, the last thing you want to do is jump around. But I went to the doctors, and I was quite persistent, because I think more than anything, you know, I wanted to lose the weight, I wanted my energy, and I just kept going back because I was like, there's something not right.
That's it.
Time after time after time, and I kept persisting, and eventually they tested me for low thyroid, and it came back as that.
I would like to stop one moment on this point, because can you imagine, you went for it, you kept telling the GP something is wrong, and at that moment, what sort of tests are they doing? Are they doing anything specific?
They were testing for all sorts. It was things like vitamin deficiencies and things like that. It wasn't
classic.
It was vitamin deficiencies, iron levels, you know, things like that they were looking at. And as well, you know, the doctors would say to me, you've just had a baby.
That's it.
And I was like, I know I've just had a baby, but you know, I should have a bit more energy than this, you know. Yes, okay, you know, newborn babies, you know, it's hard there, it's tiring, but I was at my wit's end with the way I was feeling.
Something also very important, if I may, before the pregnancy, although you were experiencing already a few symptoms, did you feel a little bit lethargic the same way, or you had a bit more energy before?
I think it's hard to compare, because I did have a newborn, so I think there is going to be a level of tiredness that comes with a newborn. I did feel lethargic. I've always, for as long as I've remembered, you know, been a very bad morning person. I'm sure lots of people are, but you know, I have been known to fall asleep on a Sunday afternoon at my mum's house with my children jumping on my head, and I will not wake up. Okay. Once I'm asleep, I am dead to the world. I'm okay. So mornings are a struggle.
Yes.
And I've always had that.
Struggle, or were there a struggle after you were after you had
before as well? Before always, yeah. For as long as I can remember, it's always been, you know, that morning time for me is a struggle. It really is.
I'm interested because there's such a long time for people to be diagnosed. Do you remember roughly in your own mind when it started? Because when you started actually feeling different and not paying probably too much attention about it?
I would say I can remember a period in around, I'd say I was probably 19, 20, so about 2008. And I remember times when I just did not want to get out of bed. And this wasn't, you know, I'm a teenager, let's stay in bed. This was, I'm asleep, I can't get up, I'm too tired. And feeling like I didn't have the energy to go out. As a 19, 20-year-old, you know, I should have been going out, but I was too tired and lethargic.
Do you remember anything happened around that time? Because we find out there's a lot of teenagers who have it, and very often the symptoms are associated, maybe a low mood, they had a disappointment, they're not doing well at school. But there are some, like me, was 17. There are sometimes suddenly, as a teenager, the person shuts down. Do you remember something happened, like 18, 19 in your life that probably was stressful?
I had a very stressful time about that point in my life. I had an abusive relationship. So you think that's a trigger for thyroid?
Heard myself as well. When I was diagnosed at 29, and I was said to have it since 17. So I went 12 years like without knowing that I was hyper, and then I became hypo. But yes, indeed, I was told that traumatic events have an implication on the body, and the thyroid usually does derail. It's very interesting.
I didn't know that.
It's so interesting because I'm speaking to so many people, and very often at that moment something happened. And
that's
for me,
really interesting to know.
And it was kind of unconscious, like because I buried it in the back of my mind. Oh, actually, yes, around 16, 17, something happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I never knew that. And I think the more you look into thyroids, the more you're astounded by what it affects. You know, it doesn't just affect, it affects everything.
And I think I'm so surprised that out of all the things we're learning at school, the heart, the liver, the lungs, etc., nobody talks about the thyroid. And that tiny, tiny gland actually regulates everything.
I know. It's crazy. The more you look into it, like I've had problems as well in the past with irritable bowels. Yes. Which is another thing, you know, and there's lots of different things that you wouldn't even consider to be related. Skin problems. I have things like eczema and dermatitis.
Yes.
You know, again, can be linked to the thyroid.
Yes, so many things. And then, but you know what? After doing all this research and talking to a lot of people, there are two things that I recall. The stress is number one. It completely derails the thyroid, and the gut. And funny enough, our gut is our second brain, and it takes all the stress. You know, we have irritable bowel, we're not feeling well. And me as a kid, each time I was stressed, I had diarrhea. That was instant. So then later on, I had hyper and I had a lot of diarrhea and stuff like that. So it is interesting that we don't think about it, but that thyroid is here. And then one day, it refused to cooperate. That's his own.
Yeah.
So tell me more. So then you get diagnosed. Then finally you recognize the symptom. You get your daughter.
Yes, I have my daughter. And finally, I was diagnosed, and I started on a low dose of 50 milligrams, which, you know, we monitored over, you know, a period of time. And I seem to have, you know, I think it's very difficult when you're diagnosed and you're trying to sort of keep it, because they test you, months apart, and it's a daily thing, you know.
Yes.
I'm not a doctor and I would never recommend it, but I can feel my thyroid fluctuate, and sometimes I know that I need to increase my own medication.
Okay. You've said something huge here, because I did the test for you guys. I went in a hospital for 7 weeks after I had breast cancer, and my thyroid derailed again. And they kept me in that hospital. It's like a special unit when they check you up. And they checked my thyroid almost 2-3 times in 1 week. They had different results.
Yeah. And you can feel it. I think once you've had thyroid for long enough, I mean, I've been aware of having low thyroid now for 6 years.
Yeah.
And once you have had it for, you know, quite a long time, you can tell on a daily basis what you need. Sometimes, so you can feel when you're very, like, I can tell if I'm low because it will get to 8 o'clock of the evening when...
Too many as well.
Yes,
because
exactly.
I have been decreasing. These people don't do that, by the way, something I do personally, but I have sometimes been decreasing the dose.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I said. I would never recommend it. I'm not a doctor.
Exactly. Please don't do it, everybody. Let me remind you.
But
okay.
you know, disclaimer, that's my own responsibility.
Yes. Exactly.
But you can, I think you can feel the difference when you've had it for a long period of time. You can tell when it's low and it's high, and you know, you can sort of, you know, manage it. But yeah, so I was diagnosed, and the thing that's sort of upset me most is actually that I was misdiagnosed in the first place, because now I have been on antidepressants for over 10 years and I can't get off of them.
You will.
I have tried before to do sort of half a dose and miss a day. I mean, once maybe my youngest is a little bit older, I might try again, but it affects me so much that I don't want to do it whilst I want to stay as sane and normal as possible when I'm with the children. So, yeah,
I mean,
when he's a bit older.
Issue, but I would say it is so important when we are going through all these to have a doctor who actually can listen and, more than that, can cooperate with us. You know, because I remember the first few years, I would have like blood tests planned every 6 months, 6 months, 1 year. So much can happen in 6 months, 1 year. What do? We wait when we have a thyroid storm and then we wait 6 months? No. I think it's important to even pester the GP if you have to. Like, I want one done. I can pay for it. I want one done. So, and then maybe work with the GP as well, I think, to sort this thing out, because so many GP wants to put people on antidepressant. Because
well, I don't know if this is actually a fact, but I was told that they are reluctant to put people on a thyroid medication because then you are eligible for free prescriptions, and apparently that affects the surgery. So I don't know if that is factual. And I do know as well that although in England doctors don't get kickbacks in terms of financial kickbacks, they are encouraged to recommend certain medications, including depression medications, because at the end of the day, pharmaceuticals is an industry that makes a lot of money. Yeah, I don't know the complete facts around that, so it might be something you're worth looking into.
I think we are not lab rats, and I have had a medical mistake, and today I am happy to be difficult.
Yeah. You have to be with thyroid.
Look at my face. I started with hypothyroid. I was a model. Then I had misdiagnosed for 12 years. Then I had a medical mistake. They gave me radioactive iodine. It completely blew me over. I had a medical mistake, steroid overdose, 20 kilos in 10 days, 40 kilos as a result. Then I became hypothyroid. The whole thing started again. Then I had to operate the eyes because I've got thyroid eye disease. So I think it's unacceptable if we feel like something doesn't add up. It is our body. It is not like, oh, I'll wait a couple of years when I know it's now. And I'm urging everybody now to go and knock on the door of the doctors and say, you know what, this is mathematical. I want myself off of this medicine because it's a drug. And any medicine that is meant to make you happier than your body is supposed to be, it's called antidepressant. I call that drug.
Well, it's interesting as well. I put a mental health post up, I think it was last week at some point, and I just sort of said how many people have experienced symptoms of depression or mental health issues, and it's something like 90%. You know, 1 in 10 women will be affected with thyroid, and not 1 in 10 women are on thyroid medication.
Absolutely. And I heard recently that 20% of the women population have thyroid. And I'm like, okay, let me check that fact again, because I know we are dealing right now with a very serious issue, which is the pandemic, the COVID, etc. The diabetes many years ago wasn't the rate that it is today, you know. And what I would hope one day is they'll have like a pen, something we could check our thyroid level wherever we are in the world
Yeah.
and quickly know what to do, because it regulates everything. So if you have complications somewhere else, wow. And especially for young women who are hoping to start a family.
Exactly.
And I heard in a conference earlier in Nigeria with the Nigerian awareness page, it has so many consequences as well on the baby.
Yeah, and
Baby,
it was always a worry for me as well after I had my daughter, because whilst I was pregnant with my daughter, I wasn't on thyroid medication. And the amount of women as well who struggle to conceive. You know, I
yes,
was struggling to conceive for such a long time and having miscarriage after miscarriage, which affects your mental health as it is.
there you go.
And
There you go.
at no point did anyone say, let's check your thyroid. And
It's often like that. It's getting they're getting there, I have to admit, because I was diagnosed long time ago, over 20 years ago. And I have to admit that at that stage, doctor didn't even know what I had, only specialists, because I fell down. I had a thyrotoxicosis, so I ended up in A&E. But apart from that, my GP was giving me antibiotics for weeks because he thought it's an infection. So I think we know our body. We know how we feel. And it's important to speak up, because a doctor is another human being with a certain knowledge. But we have the best knowledge of our body. So it's time to speak up. And I think for mothers and young girls out there, and that's why I really wanted to invite you, it should not be that there's years of struggle before pregnancy. It should be a right time. The body should be ready to have a child, not to be struggling with itself, having miscarriages and going through a lot of, trauma. So, but once you're diagnosed now and once you are taking the medicine, apart from the antidepressant, how is the condition affecting your life, the ups and downs, the children?
well, when I had my second child, so I was pregnant with my son, they increased my thyroxine levels. They said that I need to increase them, and then once I've had my son, I could drop back down. That was never possible. I went up and stayed up. We tried to drop it back down, but my body said no. But because when after my daughter, I researched diets and things like that, and started getting mad into fitness as soon as I found out that I had low thyroid, because I heard that the fitness releases endorphins, it makes you feel good, and it helps. So I sort of got into that, and I researched diets, and apparently a paleo diet, and I tried all these different things to eat well and try to, have a better diet, have a better lifestyle.
Did it work?
Pardon?
It worked?
Well, yes. I mean, in terms of my mood and energy levels, it really helps. For instance, today I normally do a workout a day. I normally try and do it in the morning. One workout a day at least.
I heard 8.
No.
No.
No, I wouldn't have time to look after the kids. I do try and do it first thing in the morning, because that is when I'm most lethargic. So if I get up in the morning, sometimes there's a live that I'm doing at the moment, a workout whilst I'm at home, and it starts at 9. Sometimes I literally roll out of bed, or I'm pulled out of bed by children, and then I go straight into a workout. And my children have learned that they join in with me, or, and I have got workout videos of me with the kids, and, they love it, to be fair. All their dance moves are fitness moves. It's very funny.
That's excellent.
By doing that exercise and fitness first thing in the morning, I'm releasing those endorphins, and it almost gives me that boost to then get showered, put my makeup on, get ready and do the day. And when I find that I haven't done that, I'm slogging through. And
Yes.
today I said to myself, because I'm studying at the moment as well. And
God.
I said to myself, no, I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to sit at my laptop and I'm going to study. And I should have worked out, because I think I would have had a bit more focus.
Yes.
I've had a lot of brain fog and easily distracted.
Yes, that's typical.
Yeah,
Totally typical.
yeah.
What do you eat? What do you eat? Something specific? Did you adjust your nutrition as well?
The only thing that, I mean, I eat everything. I don't cut anything out, but I do calorie count. When I was trying to lose weight, I used to calorie count every day. Now that I'm at a weight that I'm happy with, I just monitor it now and again, just to keep an eye on it, because with thyroid, it's easy, you know, to eat something and it stays. So I've got to keep an eye on in terms of what I'm eating. I've got to keep
moving. I'm getting a battery charge. Sorry about that. You know, that's the joy of like older phones. Funny enough, it doesn't happen often, but there you go. Technology.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes I've learned that I think you have to find something that's right for you, and a diet that's right for you. I do enjoy fasting in the morning. So
you fast?
Yes.
You don't eat anything until for how long?
So I generally fast, and then I do a workout, and then I try and eat about 11 o'clock. So giving my gut a rest. So doing sort of like, you know, giving my stomach a rest. So trying to eat like the latest, you know, sort of 8, 9 o'clock at night. You know, I'm not regimented. I'm not strict. I don't stick to it. There are times that I completely don't stick to it, but I do try to, you know, 8, 9 o'clock at night, last thing to eat, until about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock the next day. It just seems to work better for my gut, because I do experience.
Yes.
Sorry.
Did you find that when you eat, actually, it makes you more tired very quickly? Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly that.
So in the morning, if I have a breakfast first thing in the morning, I feel sluggish.
That's it.
Lethargic.
That is excellent. Exactly the same. This is so funny. And that's why I stopped having breakfast immediately after waking up.
Yeah.
I think, do you drink anything specific, like lemon juice, anything specific in the morning?
Pepsi, no, not in the morning. Pepsi Max, I was going to say. No, I mean, again, in the morning, I just stick to water. Because I do work out, I do have like a pre-workout, which has got caffeine in. I don't drink any coffee or anything like that. But a pre-workout is the same sort of thing, really, as having a coffee. It's got some other benefits as well, but that's more sort of because I do the fitness, and it gives you a bit of a buzz to work out a bit harder, and it gives me that shot of energy in the morning to.
And what sort of workout? Do you do like lifting weight, or do you do like stretching? How long do you do the workout for?
Everything. So
really?
First thing in the morning, I really like to do HIIT. So I like to do high intensity exercises. At the moment, it's with a lady who does a live, and I do sort of like, it's 45 seconds, high impact. You have a 10-second break and then back to it. They last about an hour. And in terms of, I've got issues with my hips, and I think that's from having children. So I do yoga, do a lot of yoga. I enjoy running, but my knees don't like it as much as me.
There's a lot of joint problem with hypothyroidism. People have like joint problem as well.
Yeah, well, mine's hip related, and I mean, it's dependent on my menstrual cycle as well. Probably the same with you. My menstrual cycle is all over the place.
It used to be, but because I had consequences, they had to stop everything for me years ago.
Yeah, and it's. I was having a conversation with my friend the other day. There's some of the mornings we do like a Zoom and work out together. And one of my friends said to me, "Oh, I can't do what I did last week. My hips are hurting." and it was, I did a post on it the other day about the different phases of the menstrual cycle, and how women are more prone to injury during their luteal phase. And I sort of said I experienced the same thing. Hers was just after ovulation, mine's just before a period. And if you can track it, I was trying to explain that it's really beneficial. You know, so many women don't understand enough about their own menstrual cycle. The problem I have is that I can't track it as well to know when
so many things. Can you imagine if, I mean, listening to you, and I guess if anybody is listening out there to understand like how powerful you are for initiating and trying so many things, but most people would just crumble. You know, you have a child, you have another one, you have to check your menstrual cycle, you try to go to the gym, you have to eat well. And I used to be so frustrated because at some point you have this diagnosis which says your life is not going to be the same, it's going to be difficult now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've had a few sort of things in my life where I've had to fight and carry on, sort of previous relationships and things like that. And, you know, I think I'm glad things have happened because it's made me a fighter. And I think you can choose positivity. You can choose to try. You can choose to make little changes. You know, positivity is an option. You know, you can try and make the best out of everything. And I try and make sure that, you know, my glass is half full. What do they say? People are missing the point. It's refillable. I like that. I just try and be positive. I've had a lot of drama in my life. I like zero drama. I love peace. I love, you know, I just want to crack on, and I want to get, you know, what I want to get. So, would
you say that thyroid disease made you a warrior?
I would say so. I would say so. Yeah, maybe not in the mornings.
Neither do I. Because in the morning, there's something funny with many people. Is like we can't put our feet on the floor. Do you experience the same thing sometimes?
The pins and needles.
Yes. I can't. It's so refreshing, I think, and I hope people, if you're listening out there, you are not alone. There are so many people experiencing the same thing. And just like this super fit mom, we are becoming thyroid warrior, you know, whether we like it or not, this is what's happening. And as you can see, just like you said, I'm not working out like you. I mean, I used to be an aerobic instructor, but that's like in another life. But today I find out with all the consequences, someday I'll be bloated for anything. I almost have like a kilo more or 2 kilos on the body. And then the next day I'll feel like, you know.
And it's the swelling, it's the same. It was the strangest thing to have the carpal tunnel and have sausage fingers, you know, and you wouldn't think swollen fingers.
This is it. I find out that massages worked, like massaging the whole body. So I've got this electric massager. But what kind of a last advice would you give to the young girl, the mom out there? Because motherhood, many girls between, let's say, what, 17, 18 until about what? I'm not going to offend anybody, let's say 55. I hope something will happen. You know, this is a part of a chunk of life where, let's say 50, 55, no, 17.
I want to say to people with low thyroid that you can manage it. Yeah, it's not perfect by any stretch, and there are times when I am all over the place and I don't know what's going on. But it is manageable, and things like fitness and eating well and good levels of protein, you know, they all help your thyroid. So, you know, protein shakes and not just for the gym. You know, good levels.
Protein shake?
So protein.
I never take anything like that.
Yeah, so protein is shown to help with the thyroid gland. There is, in terms of amount, they say it's 1.5 in grams of your body weight. So, for instance, I weigh 67 kilograms. So I try and aim for a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day. But I've
Okay.
learned through fitness that our body can only process a certain amount at a time, otherwise we just get rid of it. So you need to spread that out throughout your day. So I put things like protein powder in overnight oats, and that's what I have at about 11 o'clock. I have overnight oats that's got protein powder in there. You know, I have, you know, I eat meat, so, you know, I have, you know, try and include a good amount of protein in my meals, and I track the amount of protein that I have, which is shown to benefit people with thyroid issues. Now, even if you are vegan or vegetarian, there's plant-based options
Oh,
for
okay. That's
protein
interesting.
as well. But I think fitness, by me doing, you know, all of the fitness and getting into it, has helped me understand my body a lot more,
Okay.
and learn about certain things like the whole protein aspect, as something that helps. Doing a workout, you will release endorphins and it will give you a boost of energy.
Absolutely.
I just think you've got to, don't let it take over you. You know,
Yes.
are you going to let the thyroid control you, or are you going to control the thyroid?
Fantastic. And for the moms out there, what would you advise? Because obviously, imagine the day you're completely lethargic, you can't take care of your kids. What do you do?
There is so much technology nowadays in terms of keeping children entertained. But I think the hardest part for mums is guilt. I don't think it's actually what you do, because I think, you know, yes, you can, I think you can have low energy and you can feel like, oh, I don't want to get up today, you know, but you've got to have a level of understanding of yourself that you do what you can. You do what you can, especially with newborns and small children. You know, you can't do everything all the time. You know, you need to reach out to people that are close to you for support. But I mean, you can manage it. And I just think you just don't, the mum guilt, I think, is the worst. I don't think it's actually what you're doing. Because like I said, there is loads of ways to entertain children nowadays. And you know, sometimes making a den in the bed and not getting dressed for the morning is a children's idea of heaven. So,
and do you explain to your children how you feel? Do you tell them like, mom has this, that, or do they know?
I try to explain to them about, I think it's very important to talk to children about feelings, because you want children to talk to you as well about feelings. So if, you know, if I'm feeling lethargic or like I haven't got much energy, you know, yes, I will tell them that, but I will also show them that mummy doesn't give into it, that mummy continues to fight to, you know, do more and try and manage it as best as I can. And small things like getting yourself into a little routine, getting those little habits in place where, like, for instance, so when I was obviously not in isolation, I started walking to work, and instead of driving, and it took me about 40 minutes, but it was that exercise in the morning, it was that getting myself going, you know, putting my makeup on every day, as you know, just as a habit, because it makes you feel good, it makes you, you know, it sort of, you know, switches on that switch for you to get on with your day.
Absolutely.
Small little things, small habits, every day that you know help, you know, keep doing them. If you know it helps.
Do they know it's through a disease, or do you tell them? Are you honest with them? Say this is a disease, and how do you explain it to them?
I think they're too young to understand. I mean, my daughter's 6, my son is 3 next month, so they're not really. They understand that mummy has got low thyroid. I've talked to them before about my medication, because there's a safety aspect not to touch mummy's tablets and things like that. And I explain to my daughter, you know, that I have got something. I haven't really said disease, because I think it's quite a negative word. And like I said before, I try to remain quite positive about everything. But I haven't really sort of highlighted it as a major problem, because I tried to not let it be a major problem. I try my best to manage it and do what I know works in order to help. myself.
Wow, that is excellent. I think we've covered cool ground, and I really hope mothers out there, young girls out there, could see that it's not the end of the road, that actually there is even a great life once we end. It's like managing to tame that disease. And I think you said to tame, to tame. I'm French descent.
Tame. Yeah.
Tame, there you go. There usually one word that is not going through. But I think everybody out there, it is true that at the beginning, when the diagnosis comes, it feels like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not feeling well, etc. And the moment you don't let go, you make sure you ask for help, you ask for information. It is your right, it is your duty for your own body. If you don't understand, you ask to explain again. Because sometimes I used to go to GP and like for 10 minutes very quickly, like, what exactly are you telling me? Just keep asking, just keep requesting.
And I think groups like the one you have are perfect, because I think you are going to be a better source for most people than doctors. I've probably learned more things about thyroid through social media than I have through going through a doctor. And I think, you know, for someone who is newly diagnosed or trying to get diagnosed, you know, that is the hardest bit. Once you're diagnosed, that's the road to management.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's getting, because it's managing the levels, isn't it, and getting it right. And still the same for you, the same for me. You know, I am 6 years on now of being diagnosed, and I'm still not, you know, it's not a straight line. It goes up and down. But yeah, I think the first 2 years were the hardest.
Yes.
But you get to, you've got to listen to your body, understand your body.
And then you go on a cruising level, and then it becomes fantastic. Well, Lisa, I'm so happy we did this, because I often speak about thyroid, but never on the mommy side. Only a lady who told me, but she's in her 60s, 70s, that she was lucky when she had it. Like, there was no social media. People didn't know about things. And for 30 years, her husband, she relied on him, and he was doing everything for her while she was lethargic. But now it's amazing. We have social media. We can share. We're on live, you know. It's fantastic. And don't hesitate to send questions. Are you okay to receive questions, by the way?
Yeah, that's fine. I've also got a highlight on my page with some information about thyroid, as well as another highlight about menstrual cycles.
That is perfect.
So if anyone wants to check them out, that's fine.
And I'm checking your page now, and I have to say, we are waiting for that thyroid or fitness video, because I'll sign now. I'm not sure I'm going to wait till morning.
Yeah, I want to show the world that, you know, you can have things like low thyroid and you can still, you know, get what you want with your body. You can still achieve results. And, you know, as well as a woman, you know, just because I'm a mum, that doesn't mean I can't try and look nice. And you know, from time to time, yes, you know, I'd like to look nice, and you know, I'll try my best for as long as possible. I've got my mum to thank for that ambition of image.
There you go. And I think honestly, with a body like this, the moment we do the gala, I'm checking that dress on you on the red carpet.
I'm coming. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Lisa. And then we'll be in touch, because there's a great inspiration there. Thank you so much, guys. And don't forget, this is still Thyroid Awareness Week until tomorrow. So you could send your story. You could ask for questions. You could literally tag us. Ask your friend to follow us massively, because this is not just like a hidden subject at the back of the world. This is now becoming a global problem. The more we speak about it, the more we can manage it.
Yeah.
Lisa?
Thank you very much.